Yo, what's up everybody? I hope you have an amazing day and welcome to this video. And today's a pretty special one as we are going to be coaching a Riot employee. His name is Leo. He's a game director for League of Legends and I'm absolutely excited to share this one with you guys. So the thing is, in Riot Games they have some internal competition, they have some tournaments there, and usually he's a mid lane main, but he's transferred over to top lane, so he's relatively new. So this session is going to be quite extensive on theory and then also the VODs, so there's going to be timestamps down below to navigate to wherever you want to. And I also want to say that I am just absolutely blessed to be in a position where I am able to coach somebody from Riot. You've all put me in this amazing position, and we also owe everything to Riot Games to begin with to be able to play the game League of Legends. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Share it with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I wish you all an amazing remainder of your day. Enjoy, guys.
Which is like an internal tournament, which everyone cares about, because if you win, you get a Letterman jacket and you can wear around campus, and everyone thinks you're a badass. And Rioters, there's very few top laners, actually. And so I was playing top lane for my team, and I was trying to get a lot better, and I was actually doing all right. But you know, I want to keep getting better at top lane and mid lane.
Perfect. Okay. I see that is also why the champion pool is a little bit mixed. Right? You play some Ahri, you play some Galio, you play some Darius, Gnar, and Camille, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah. I'm also like kind of ADHD. I kind of bounce around all different kinds of champions. I really struggled to focus on just one champion.
The baseline of it is like you kind of want to learn top lane as a whole, right? You don't have the goal of climbing right now. Is that correct?
Yep. I think at the end of the day, I would love to get back into Diamond, but my foremost priority is just get good, and I know I'm not good right now, and so I really want to learn the fundamentals, have a champion pool that is more than just one champion, and ultimately the goal is to be somewhat resilient to banning, because when we play those Rumble tournaments, people usually target ban, and so top gets banned pretty heavily, like 3 or 4 champions deep, and so that was part of the impetus for me to learn more than just 1 or 2 champions.
I see, so they're target banning you, these, I call it piggies. That's annoying. Okay, so we need a champion pool of, let's say, 5 champions, so you're covered in that state. My goal would be to kind of get a blueprint, so that regardless of the champion you play, you're going to be fine. I would also recommend to stick with champions that... What would be your champion pool right now if you have to name 5 champions?
For top lane, mid lane, or overall?
Just top lane right now. Top lane perspective.
Just top lane, I would say I'm comfortable with Darius, Garen, Volibear, Sett, and I've been trying to add Tahm Kench just to get some tanks in there. Actually, I feel very comfortable initiating fights, so I kind of feel like I should start picking up Ornn and play more Malphite, but I've been playing a lot of the Bruisers and Juggernauts.
Okay, that's completely fine. A champion pool that I would somewhat... So I think Garen, Darius, amazing champions. He said Sett, also absolutely amazing. They do have a little bit of like different playstyle in the sense that Darius, Sett are very aggressive, whereas with Garen you're more so on a more passive footing, right? Especially in the early game. And then the champions that I would round it off with, if you want like a tank Juggernaut combination, is Mundo. You ever considered Dr. Mundo?
I have, and Corporate Mundo speaks to me, so you know.
Mundo is up for grabs. Mundo is, in my opinion, one of like the easiest, but by far the best champions to learn for top lane. On par with Garen, in some scenarios even better than Garen, because his kit and like the way you want to like play this champion is so simple. So for example, if we just put ourselves, like I'm just watching this game here, right? When I'm looking at this comp, I'm gonna put you here, this is you, and this would be the team you're facing. If you are Mundo against this team, there's nothing that they're going to do to try and stop you, because none of them have percentage health damage. And Mundo, in so many scenarios right now, if you're last picking or just picking whenever you know your matchups or some champions, for example, Kha'Zix, Ahri, and Corki, they will just struggle infinitely with trying to kill a Mundo. They just can't get through him, because you're only going to build Warmog's Heartsteel into full resistances. You one-shot everybody. It's an amazing champion. And all you really have to learn when playing Mundo is core fundamentals. So how do you survive the early laning phase? How do you play out bounces? How do you farm even? And you kind of skill almost on par with the champion like Kassadin, because your kit functions so good with health. And every matchup in top lane is also going to play in a similar manner. So for example, if you're going to learn to play Darius, perhaps you've spotted this in some of your matchups too, like you have to really build different in certain matchups. You have to take trade patterns, and all impact is completely different. Whereas with Mundo, your general goal in the gameplay is literally a blueprint from start to finish. You don't really have to adapt it. So that is why I, generally speaking, recommend Mundo.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think what you're telling me is your mechanics are shit, Piggy. Just play something that's very linear, and I think that's why like Garen speaks to me. Whereas Darius and Sett, you really have to feel like you need to know the matchups, because you need to know your limits, because you need to play up to the limits.
Yes.
And I do struggle with that sometimes, as we will see. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Garen has always been quite you know, it's a stat checky champion. I think Mundo is probably a pretty stat checky champion as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Makes sense.
Okay, and then so right now we have Mundo. I think Sett is perfect too. Ultimately, you can adjust these accordingly to what your liking is, and then Darius Volibear, something like this. I think if you go tanks, Malphite is absolutely perfect champion, but for example, an issue you'll run into when picking Malphite is you cannot blind pick the champion. Because if they pick something like tank into, for example, Mundo, you're going to feel a lot of struggles. So that's okay. So that's first things first. We talk about champion pool, but this is up to you at the end of the day as well, into what you're comfortable with, and of course what the opponent is going to be that you're facing. And second to that is, to be fair, do you have any questions before we go into the vote regarding top lane or anything just generalized?
I think the thing I really want to focus on improving is the laning phase. I think my laning phase really just sucks. A lot of that is derivative of like not understanding the matchups or the fundamental like push pull. I've been trying to implement some of the stuff I've seen from your stream around, you know, wave management, when to take bases, when to move, where to ward. But implementing it is a different struggle. And I think once I get to the mid-game, late-game phases with the macro and when to split push, when to group up with the team, I'm generally feeling a lot more comfortable there, just because I think that from a skill set perspective has degraded less over the past 15 years. But my laning is certainly the area of struggle for me.
Perfect. So then I also think we should just put high emphasis on laning phase throughout the entire game. And to start off with that, then, I mean, I'm just going to write up a blueprint. Now, you may have heard me say it before, and that is that in top lane, the way I perceive it is, we start here, is that your first 4 waves matter the most, by far. Have you heard me say that statement before?
Yes.
Do you agree with the statement?
I think so. I think at the lower skill levels, people do tend to throw at some point. They throw their leads a lot more than the higher skill level. So, but yes, in terms of everyone playing well from their positions, the first 4 waves feel sometimes like I'm just completely boxed out of the game, sometimes even by wave 2 or 3. And I've tried to start counting the minions like you talk about, like when you're going to hit level 2, when they're going to hit level 2 and 3 and so on. But yes, certainly it feels like the first 4 waves in top lane in particular are really, really brutally important.
And I think you mentioned a lot of key points here that are important in the sense that the higher you go, the less, or the more important this will be. It's also, it goes both ways, right? Because if you have certain, I guess, knowledge advantages over your opponent, you can really try and abuse that harder, because people are not going to be open to it or like expect anything of or like these like ideas of like level up timers and stuff like this. I also agree with your statement that if you make a mistake, or let's say you get ahead, people are way more prone to make more mistakes, so to kind of give up their lead again. This also ties in with the fact that, you know, if you are right now going to have a good position from your first 4 waves, it is up to you to throw the lane, but it's also in your control to kind of keep expanding from there and having a good laning phase, right? So you're not gonna have to be on a reactive footing the entire laning phase. So what I kind of want to establish is get a blueprint on how we should consistently start understanding how to approach the first 4 waves. That is from level 1 perspective, right? How we want to play the level 1. So the question that I kind of want to answer very often is, can we look for priority level 1? And then what kind of wave crash should we do in the early game? And then we start looking into jungle tracking, level up timers, these stuff. So kind of doing everything in harmony, right? So do we want to look for priority? What kind of wave crash do we want to do? Because X and X jungle pathing is happening, so on and so on. So we start off with just understanding that first waves matter the most, simply because, you know, if you, let's just say, right, picture this, we're pushing, but we end up randomly dying on this wave. From this point onwards, you're just simply going to have a reactive laning phase, because you're always going to be behind in gold and XP to your opponents, behind in levels as well. It feels very tough to play. So I want to make sure we're most stable in the first 4 waves. And the way I do that is you're not in loading screen right now, but whilst we're in loading screen, I'm simply taking a look at my opponent's setup. So when I look at his setup, I've been looking at his runes, his summoners, and then when we load into the game, or we see him earlier, his starting item. So for example, if we lane into a Jax and he's playing with a D-Shoot and Grasp and Teleport, right? It's a lot, you know, less aggressive than if we're playing against a Jax with Lethal Tempo, Flash Ignite, and a Doran's Blade, right? Whilst we're playing the same matchup, it's a completely different setup, so we should also expect our opponent to play a little bit different. That's the isolated 1v1. And then with 2v2, for example, here we have Sett Amumu. I don't know what enemy topside is looking like, but I assume also if you play against an Elise jungle or a Shyvana jungle, you're going to approach your wave state somewhat different, because you're more scared of a potential early game Elise gank than you would be of an early game Shyvana gank, right? So that's just a baseline of scouting out the early game 2v2 and kind of catering towards that. Then the question we want to answer by looking at the setup in the early game 2v2 is, can we look for can we look for priority level 1? This is the question we want answered. This is going to sound quite a bit vague, but I'm very certain you can visualize this. Theory execution is always going to be different, and this is where matchup knowledge will come into play as well. For example, when you are playing Sett, you can look for priority in probably 90% of your matchups simply because your passive just makes you such a strong stat check champion in the level 1, right? However, when we are playing, I don't know, Garen, it's going to be more 50-50. But some matchups you would say are theoretically losing, but because your opponent's either leashing or not walking with the wave, we can still look for priority. So let's say we're playing Garen into Aatrox, which is a matchup I would consider where both of the players can get priority when done correctly. If you go E-start Garen and you just start hitting the wave early on and he's not there instantly, you get priority. Although I could say that theoretically Aatrox can get priority in that matchup as well if he lands all the Qs and just spaces you out, right? So the second part to that is any losing matchup can become winning by getting priority through level up timers. And then the question is, do you know the level up timers?
Yeah. I think level 2 is wave 2, right? After the first wave dies, I forget, it was 3 melee and 1 ranged, or 2.
No. So I have like this bridge right now that somebody taught me. So basically for level 2, it is wave 2 plus 1. So basically for 2, it's 1 wave plus 1 melee. So 1 plus 1 kind of. So for level 2, you need 1 melee. So you need the full wave plus 1 melee minion. However, it can also be that you get the first 5 minions plus 1 melee wave 2. So you see, this is only 6 minions here, right? And that is because melee minions give significantly more XP than casters. So you could even get level 2 by only getting 6 minions, which in some scenarios might prove very useful to just try and get early game cheeses off or early game trades off. And so level 3, first 2 waves plus 2 melee. So you see it's 2 plus 2 now.
Yep.
And for level 4, it's first 3 waves plus 3 melee and 1 caster. This is the one you mentioned. This is for level 4. Memorizing these level timers is so important and is probably the first habit that you should start ingraining into your gameplay from your own perspective as a baseline. And then once you've kind of gotten that down and you start seeing these timers and you see the patterns consistently, also understanding, like tracking them from your opponent, because once you start seeing how much XP both of you need in order to get your level up, this is how you can time your trades accordingly.
Got it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
We can talk soon about jungle tracking. I think that's pretty much it. And then we talk about early waves, but we'll get there. So this is kind of like the blueprint of everything I want to get into, right? So we have the fundamentals pretty much covered here with all of this. Regarding jungle tracking, if I could ask you, how do you track the jungles currently when you're laning?
I currently try to get a sense of where the jungler is pathing, but I do it on a pretty rudimentary level of like, hey, they started red probably, and so they're probably tracking top. So at around like 3:15, 3:30, I start to be conscious of that, get a ward up if I can. Try to get a ward up on the raptors or toward their jungle so I can spot them early if possible. But if they take in unorthodox pathing or if they skip camps, my rudimentary tracking gets all out of whack.
Yeah, I think this is completely normal, by the way. Especially when you're new to top lane, you're gonna have to first of all focus on your champion, on the lane state, on enemy champion, wave states, trade patterns, all this stuff, right? So it's also hard to kind of consciously keep track of junglers throughout, just laning phase, especially when they're doing cheesy pathings. Idea to simplify this is to try and get a level 1 ward down whenever possible. So I don't know who your opponent is right now. Maybe you press tab and we can get some information on that. Oh, so you actually get the ward down. Awesome. Now, when we look at this game state, right? When we look at the laning phase, just before anything happens, what is the information that we have?
We know that their jungler is likely starting red, I believe. If the ward hasn't spotted him, I'm laning against a Gnar, and that I am to lane earlier than the Gnar.
Yes. And one crucial thing is you've mentioned enemy jungler. What is your jungler doing?
My jungler is pathing toward the bottom side.
Yes. So this I would refer to as a weak side laning scenario, because in the first 4 waves, your jungler is going to be helping your bot lane, and enemy jungler is going to be helping the Gnar. So our gameplay very often will also change depending on the jungle pathing. So what you'll actually see, especially when you get these wards out, so this is extremely good to see, is that our wave management, so our early game wave states, are going to be a combination of jungle pathing and matchup. So now we're going to walk all through it, right? All of the stuff we talked about. It was all theory now. Now let's look at it in a visual example. When you are in this scenario right now, can we look for priority level 1?
I think that the fact that the junglers are padding the way they are, yeah, I think I could still, because I'm Sett, and I feel like if he comes up stupidly and I can get an HP advantage, I could get still look for prio level 1 and then try to get an early crash or cheaters and then play differently from there, because I think the first couple of minutes I should be pretty clear from the jungler, right? Because they're at bottom side.
Perfect. Everything you said is 100% true, and is basically what I wanted to get towards. So now, yes, we can still look for priority, but we have to be wary of the fact that enemy jungle can path top, so we have to look for an early game crash to avoid a scenario where we're going to be stuck here. Unless you have a wave big enough and a health advantage big enough that you can 2v1.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So now let's take a look at execution. So first thing I would just do here is check a starting item. If he has D-shoot or D-blade, that is going to be a big difference maker. I think here, you're not on the rush to walk up here. Because what you could do, right, to be like really cheesy, is just simply wait here and wait to see what the Gnar is going to do. Now this is like here, I'll go a little bit more in depth, and you just kind of have to visualize it. But let's say we keep basically staring at this frame, the way it's looking right now, but the minions start hitting each other. Once these minions drop to like this % HP, for example, only then would I start walking forward and basically force Gnar's hand to make a decision to either walk into your fists and get an XP, or kite and lose the XP.
Got it. I think a lot of this was like, okay, if the Gnar not gonna come, I'm gonna go get some prio and get the minions ticking down on their side faster. That makes sense. I can wait, right? I only need to punch it a couple times to get it moving in my favor. Yeah,
100%. And you could just E and W and just have full AU in the wave on the second one. But the thing as well is that this is also, of course, factored in the jungle. So I think what you're doing here is completely fine. It's not something faulty. I think looking for priority here is completely fine. Either way you take it. But let's say just from a, theoretical perspective, remove everything we just talked about earlier regarding jungle, and we're just looking at the laning phase 1v1 right now. If you are able to zone your opponent from the first 3 melee minions worth of EXP, and you get the EXP yourself, you snowball your laning phase immensely hard, and your opponent can never really contest anymore. This is because you're going to basically continuously be dismatched. I'm not even sure that's the English word, dismatched, but like basically, you're gonna be level 2 whilst he's level 1, you're gonna be level 3 when he's level 2, because you're gonna be 3 melees ahead. And when you look at the overview of these level up timers, if you just even lose 1 melee in this first wave, you don't even get level 4 from the first 4 waves completely. This is a reference point. If you lose 3 melees, you're going to continuously be super delayed, right? So if you ever find a position where you're playing a champion like Darius, you're playing a champion like Sett, and you can zone your opponent from the first 3 melees minions worth of XP while still getting it yourself, you will snowball the lane phase just from there, because if you're always a level up, you're pretty much 600 gold worth of in stats. I can show you a visual example real fast. I was playing Riven into Aurelia, similar scenario. I zoned her from the first 3 minions worth of XP. I ended up slow pushing the lane. I was level 4, she was level 2, we dove her, game over. But yeah, I think you can visualize the example that I'm getting towards, right?
I think that makes sense. I think part of it is I'm a loot goblin, man. So I'm like, yo, I don't want to miss my CS. But yeah, if I can zone him off of the XP of those first 3 melees, it feels extreme worth.
Yeah. It makes sense what you're saying, right? You don't want to lose XP, like CS in the early game, but if he loses gold and XP, but you gain the XP, ultra worth for you. So we're just contesting the wave right here. Now, crucial moment. You see this? We talked about this. You see how this caster right now is still alive from the first wave, right?
Yeah.
But we actually don't need this to die. We only need this and this to die to get our level 2.
Got it. So punch that low caster and then immediately start punching a melee.
Exactly, but this is what you're doing. Look. So now what you should do is, what do you reckon Gnar is going to do from his perspective?
He should go for the CS, but, well, he wants to go for that CS because it's his turn to take CS soon. But he needs to run away if I start positioning forward.
Yes, but the way you could do this is kind of wiggle forward here with movement. So kind of like you're doing here. And now what I want you to do is like walk backwards and perhaps now find a window where you walk forward, you E, and with your AoE, you hit him and the minion when he's walking over last hit, you get your level 2, and you get an amazing trade here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
See, so now we're in a position, okay, actually you're looking for it, really good. I like everything you tried to do here. Really good.
Yeah, I was trying to time the level up, but I just kind of whiffed.
Yeah, and that's all good.
It was too slow.
And one thing you can memorize as well is that because your ability actually has AoE, you don't need to wait to the minion to die. You can even look faster.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but well done. I liked everything you tried to do here, and now we're looking for a 3rd wave crash. However, one thing that is crucial to notice here is that when I decide if I should slow push or hard push, what do you reckon I'm looking at?
Not sure.
I look at the minimap.
That's one of the things. I see. Okay.
And I just see wherever mine... So there's two things to look at. I look at the position of the wave state. It's still in a neutral spot right now. And then the second thing I look at, of course, is how big is my main wave compared to theirs. And then thirdly, and most importantly, I check whenever the next wave is going to arrive.
I see.
So
okay.
If we're in this shoes right now, you have the option of either slow pushing or hard pushing. Because the next wave hasn't spawned yet. And if you were just to hard push this, we get the second wave to crash pretty, consistently. Gnar cannot stop us, right? Before third wave comes. And with crashing, I mean your main wave crashing onto his turret. But then when we look for the trait like this, you see it's going to change quite significantly. Because we AoE a lot of minions. And now we're in a trickier spot. Because now randomly, this third wave is coming up. It's already past tier 3. And now we have to make a different decision.
Yeah, because I might get a really weird crash if it crashes too early, right?
Yes. So here... you could still push this, but exactly as you state, you're kind of having to play under the turret here. It's not necessarily anything super negative, but if you wanted to get a cleaner third wave crash, you would basically have to start last hitting here at the latest race possible to kind of ensure that this third wave would still walk through the lane so you can push it in a comfortable manner.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'm really bad at like looking at where my next wave is and evaluating decisions off of that.
I think you've done a pretty good job here in terms of like... you stop hard pushing here, but you see here this last hit is still relatively early. You see, it was still like 70 HP. This last hit is also relatively early. All of them are quite early. Now it's good you're last hitting, appropriately, but you see these last hits are fast.
Yeah.
And just because of like these tiny details, they're kind of gonna make it that the wave is just a little bit awkward.
In a bad spot, yeah. And especially when I'm weak side, I need to be really cautious of putting myself in this position.
Yeah, I still think here, if you just, play to your position, you can even let the Gnar hit you a little bit, and you just, use your W here on level 3 for the AoE and get the wave in. But the longer we stay here, the more awkward it can really get.
Yeah, the Mega here. Is that trade good for me?
Well, I'm trying to see here. Okay, so this is a little unfortunate we didn't have our W yet here.
Yeah, because the meter wasn't built while I was taking all that damage.
Yeah, I think here we also... So in terms of combo, let me take a look at the combos, alright? So I think here you could auto. So we lose one auto attack here.
Yep.
So you could auto, then E, and then Q, like auto both, right? So here you've only gotten in, I think, 3 auto attacks where you should get in 4 to 5. So auto E, or auto E, and then you would auto Q and double auto, right? So we're lacking some attacks. I think you've missed...
Yeah, I missed my second Q auto.
Yeah, at least 2 autos here. No, actually 1 auto. No, never mind, 1 auto. But it's okay, because you still do have the priority here. So you're going to be completely fine. His cooldowns are very long. And now all you have to do is basically play to level 4 and get this wave to crash. But what's important right now is that you stop looking for trades and you really put high emphasis on just making sure you get this wave to crash. Because you still should just be able to. If you just brute force it with your body, you're kind of... So the thing is here, you see how you're kind of scared to lose HP, right?
Right.
I would shift away from that. I would be completely fine losing HP as long as
I'm looking for a recall anyway.
Exactly. And you just want to get the wave in. So the faster you get this wave in, it's fine. And when he hits you, your W does more damage as well. So again, your mentality here shifts from looking for trades or anything like this to just wanting to make sure the wave gets to crash.
And I need to get that wave to crash before my wave hits the third tower or the second tower. Like, what does my metronome look like?
Well, so this is intuitive based. I don't know the exact timer, but what I can tell you is this: if the wave is split up here, this would be like a neutral position in the lane. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller so we can just draw it more accurately. This would be the center of the lane, right? Like neutral state.
Yeah.
This is our part, and this is his part. General sense, when you're laning here, it is always slow push to hard push because your wave has to travel such a big distance as well. When you're in neutral, you can choose if you could slow push or hard push instantly. And when you're in their spot, hard pushing is generally speaking always going to be the case. If you hard push this right now, your minions have to take a few steps to get into the turret. So you should be in time if you prioritize it hard enough.
So I should, on their side, I should never wait. I should never be like, let's wait for the next wave to join.
No, like very rarely, because you see now, even though we haven't hard pushed this at all, it's still going to crash pretty, consistently here. I think you've done a fine job. We've basically gone even on the weak side, and now, okay, so I would definitely take this recall for multiple reasons. Well, yeah, we'll get there in a second. So
the reason I did not take the recall is the next wave was here already. So this is like the awkwardness of like, hey, should I be recalling when the waves are about to meet again, or is that missing of that XP not acceptable? I'm certainly not going to be able to get back to lane without using my teleport if, he just shoves this wave, right?
So I think the way to fix that issue is that the faster you push here, the more time you have to set up your reset. Like, the more efficient we play in this manner, the less resources we are going to lose here. And that is like a rule of thumb that is going to apply to every time you're crashing a wave, right? So here you see you're actually prioritizing trades over getting the wave to crash. And because you lose those seconds here, right, you could have already gotten this wave in, right? And that would have made your recall much faster, and then you can just, walk back and lose pretty much nothing here. Okay, so now you recall, but it's kind of late. Now the thing is with staying, is it's not objectively bad. I would just say it's inefficient, because now Gnar is going to get a free recall. Because when the way reset timers work, right, especially in the longer lane,
and this is really bad for like the timing of the jungler, right? Because this is 330. Me being on his side of the map at 60% HP is not great.
Yes, but I would also so there's two ways to that. You're also not forced to walk up here. Like, you're not forced to contest this wave because it's pushing back towards you, right?
I see. Yeah.
So in that regard, choosing here basically means you just want to collect. You should not be looking to aggressively contest this, because you're right, you are still in a weak side position. It looks like Amumu has the intention of walking topside here instead of his bot side jungle, so maybe that could be a reason why you in-game thought, okay, maybe I do stay here to contest, right? It's hard to say in hindsight, but what's important to recognize is that reset timers are always like turn-based, and if you miss a reset timer, you're not going to get another one kind of for the next 2 minutes, because let's say we naturally play out these wave sets right now, right? You agree that we should not be aggressively contesting this. We put ourselves in a lot of dangers doing that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Then what's going to happen is Gnar is going to either hard push this, or, and that is what he should do because he's playing at his side of the lane, slow push this, hard push next. And then it's going to crash into your turret. What's going to happen after it crashes into your turret? Bounce back into the Gnar again, right?
Yeah.
But then you still haven't gotten your reset on that bounce. So that is why I would have rather gotten my reset in now. But if you stay, we can't contest. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I just gotta go in a passive collect mode.
Yeah.
And here I'm trying to push it back in. Like, I'm like, oh god, get it in so I can get a recall. But really, I missed my window for recall, and I just need to give it up.
Yeah, and you see the main reason you missed it is because you kind of had the double intention of wanting to trade and get the wave in, right? Whereas if you were like more one-dimensional, it would have just been easier. And I mean,
here my Mumu is like.
He's contesting a scuttle.
He's contesting the scuttle, but I'm not in a position to help.
No, you can't help here. You never win the 2v2. One thing I would do here, and that is a forced habit that I want you to try and start ingraining. So the first part to zone tracking was level 1 ward. The second part is pressing tab every time a jungler shows on the map. And this is because basically CS counting, we call this. It sounds very difficult, but it's pretty easy. Do you know how much camp every camp gives in the game?
It's 4, right?
Yes, it's 4 for every single camp. So it doesn't matter what it is. So if you press tab here, I expect this Silas right now to have 24 CS because he doesn't have the scuttle yet, right? So that would be all 6 camps. If he has the scuttle, it's 28. It's just important to always verify this, because then you know exactly what Silas is going to do next. So let's say Silas right now has 28 CS and kills the Amumu. He's going to just reset and go back to bot side, right? Because he has no remaining top side camps. But let's say he randomly has 16 CS right now. That I would say he's probably killed these 3 and maybe a blue buff and still has 2 remaining camps, right? Like these 2 he would still have remaining. So that's why I would just have it as an ingrained habit to always press tab whenever you see a jungle on the map, because it gives you a general good idea of what he's going to do next. And this is even more applicable to, let's say, you see a jungler, ganking mid with a red buff and 12 CS. Well, then it's very clear where he's going to go next. He's going to go here. Okay, and you're gonna have some weird scenarios where you see junglers with like 16 and 20, right? But then by process of elimination, you can kind of see what's going on. Again, I expect the size to just have 24 CS. And now, we can't contest this bounce. And Gnar slow push into hard push, and it crashed. So now we're kind of gonna have that scenario where it's gonna be a bit tricky to play, because he's level 5 to you being level 4. And you, generally speaking, do not want to trade when you are leveled down. Just for reference, every level up is about equivalent to 600 gold worth of stats. So now we're just more so on the back foot. And we want to try and see if we can set up a reset, probably through base TPing now, right?
Yeah.
Because you cannot play out this bounce.
Here, I'm a loot goblin and farming under my tower, which gets me chunked by this by Gnar. Should I be going for these CS aggressively?
Yes, because we're looking to set up our base by teleporting back anyways. So it doesn't matter that we're losing health if our plan here, and that is what you should do, to base teleport back, because on this HP compared to his, you simply cannot contest the bounce, right? So base TP is the correct play.
Greedy recall position.
Yeah, Gnar pushed away for it, however, so I think it's all right now to stay. I don't know what recall value you are looking for, but we are gradually just losing CS here time by time, right? So that's the only thing that really sucks, because now through this gameplay, we're just gradually getting zoned from EXP, or not from EXP, sorry, from gold, from last hits.
Right, and it's all because I didn't take the recall timing.
Yeah, well, multiple. I think, yeah, because you didn't take the recall timing, Gnar was able to just get this wave in. I think we probably should have set up our reset a little bit faster here, so I think it's a combination. So in your shoes, what I would do right here is collect this wave aggressively and base teleport back. So yeah, exactly as you were saying, kind of similar to the thought process that you had here, right? Where you were narrating me through it, that you don't mind losing HP because you're looking to set up your reset anyways. That same mentality is applicable here, right? Where you just want to collect this wave as fast as possible and you set up your reset. So don't really mind losing HP as long as you don't die, but realistically, I don't see a way that you can die.
Yeah, I could probably EW this wave and clear it really fast.
Exactly. And then just base TP, and then you stop the bleeding. But we have this bleeding scenario for 2 more waves here, right? This is first one, and then another one here. So then it just, you know, it just stacks up everything combined. That on the bounce you can't contest, because whilst the wave's pushing towards you, you don't want to contest. And then we're just losing so many lasts on the turret. And then, I mean, after all this, now we are behind, I mean, I suppose, yeah, 20 CS, give or take. Okay. You do end up getting your reset in here. Any questions thus far about the early laning phase? I think everything makes conceptually a lot of sense, right? And you see here that I'm just way more catered to playing consistent with wave states and reset timers over anything else. And then that is paired with last hitting accordingly. I just think last hitting is a skill that it's very hard to teach. It's just a mentality, right? Like you say, just lose your HP, but get the last hits, the faster the better. Perfect. Yeah, we move on. You get Phage and Boots, which I think is completely fair. Habitually, you should check the Gnar items when coming back to lane. I'm gonna quickly verify if you do that. You do. Perfect. And you check his items. I mean, yeah, you're pretty much on equal footing now. One thing that I always mention is in these kind of frames, it is not worth it for you to look for traits. Can you try and figure out why?
Because the wave is shoving toward me and I am behind. I think this might be a case where Amumu wants to play for grubs, so maybe I look for prio here. I'm not sure.
What you're saying is valid, but I don't think we can play off this Amumu. Let's just scratch away this guy. Just in a 1v1 scenario right here, I'll be pretty cautious with looking for traits right here, because he is priority in the lane right now.
Yeah.
Which means he can get first access into river, and around 6:15, there's a plant, or 6:05, right? The plant spawns in the river. 6:05 to 6:15, the honey fruit spawns in the river. So if you have priority around that time, and now we're 7:20 in, but I mean, nobody has access to this river pretty much since, right? And junglers don't really need the healing from the plant. There's always going to be solo laners. So if you can get good health traits at around this timer, it can be beneficial. If you have priority, it can be really beneficial. Here in this instance, I would say be more trade avoidant, because let's say you both lose half your HP, but he gets the plant, you're left without any options, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're just forced to kind of play out this bounce scenario. You're also playing into Gnar, which is kind of just known to be this neutralizer in top lane. And the only way we can really look for, you know, an aggressive trade right now is to perhaps see if we can get our level up here on the bounce and look for a good equal health trade when he doesn't have his mega. So let's see how we try and approach that.
Yeah, so my Mumu goes to grubs here. So I'm trying to...
Ooh, I think if you time the ult here, he might be dead. Because he's walking behind you, right? If you time the ult right here...
Yeah, if I go to the right, yeah.
Yeah.
I could even flash R, right?
Yes, but I would, in your shoes, maybe just do a little step here and just ult him. Because you see his intention very clear. He's just trying to step behind you and do the slow thing. So if you react fast enough here, and ult him right here, you can even cancel his E, he would be dead.
Yeah, if I go walk down and then R. See, this is where the boomer hands and boomer brain get me. Because makes sense. Need to get faster.
Yeah, that was our first kill window, where I'd say that's important to kind of highlight on the mechanical side. What would you be your... Okay, yes, you hop over. What would be your plan to crash this wave? Start your reset again.
I think I should slow push this into hard next.
Perfect, you got it down. And then what we could try to do instead is maybe dive the Gnar with the Amumu, but okay, no, he's going for camps instead. So you see here, now we're full slow pushing. This is not inherently bad, but then it's just gonna be like you're looking for kill pressure instead of looking to set up your reset, right? So that's completely fine. But I'm just
want to test. Should have gone hard into this, right?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I just wanted to test you. Like, let's say our intention was to look to set up a reset. How would you do it? And you were correct.
Got it.
But you could still do like slow push this and a hard push next, for example.
So here, one of the things I did was once he started hitting the wave, I didn't want to get to the position where I was stuck under my tower again. So I started punching back to keep it roughly in this position.
Yeah.
Is that incorrect?
Well, I think the second you give Gnar kind of dominion over this laning phase to begin with, so right here you give him like the Fury bar, he's going to be able to start contesting it either way. So if you don't want to be stuck on your turret, I would just rather look for you to set up your own reset right now. And so then I would just hard push this wave and hard push this wave, because if you kind of keep it in the neutral spot, the second Gnar is going to be able to start walking up again. You know, he just has the range advantage, so it's hard for you to kind of keep control over that wave. Let's say this was a, like, I don't know, any melee champion that would struggle in contesting you, then it makes more sense what you're doing. But he can kind of just brute force the priority back, right? By being ranged.
Yeah.
So yeah, now he just gets the prio again. I'm losing. Yeah, he gets the mega. You just have to carry it out.
Yeah, I struggle into Gnar.
We all do.
He like, yeah, he range pokes me and then turns mega and kills my ass.
Yeah, no, I hate Gnar myself, and respectfully, I just dislike landing against the champion. It's a that was clean. Oh, but the W sucks. Oh no!
Yeah.
It was clean until it wasn't. So this was really good. The second Gnar ults as well, you flash E, so he's instantly taking turret aggro, and then you actually ult this guy. And now the thing is, if this W would have landed,
yeah, we probably win this fight because I killed the Gnar insta.
And you would get level 9. So you would probably both win. Both live here. That is a tragedy. And now we're both dead.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, actually, he gets one.
Okay, never mind. He smurfed out.
Oh, he gets both. He gets both. He gets both.
Big. Okay, so it's still worth it. Big. We get the way to crash. Just in terms of lane phase right now, I think we're just more so on the receiving end in the sense of he's ahead 9s right now. He's a full Trinity Force. You are about 1k gold away from your item spike, so he's just stronger right now. And I think it's a combination of just slowly, gradually losing in CS numbers and losing playtimes.
Yeah.
So when reviewing this laning phase, do you feel like it kind of just felt like a slow loss of control, right?
Yeah.
So I think a combination of that is, first things first, we never really got our own reset timers in. As you see, we never crashed the wave and got a reset in, right? If we look in the laning phase. That's the first part. And as a result of this, Gnar was always able to decide his reset timers. Because again, what you kind of see here, twice, is here, you had the opportunity to set up your reset and we missed it, right? And because we missed this one, we never got one again. We could have like generated one, like I refer to this as a free out of jail card with teleport. You can kind of cheater one reset by just base TPing back, which we could have done here. We missed that opportunity as well, and so we're slow bleeding. So after our first reset, we're already 18 CS behind here, which is, you know, not the end of the world, but it's definitely significant. Then,
yeah, I feel like this happens to me a lot, yeah.
And then we lose a kill opportunity here, right? We don't ult him in. And then now, again, you're in a position where if you slow push it to hard push, you set up your reset again. What's perhaps crucial to understand as well is that if you slow push and hard push this wave, Gnar doesn't get a reset for himself. Because let's say, picture you slow push this and you hard push this wave as fast as possible. Gnar is forced to collect both waves under the turret, right? If you instantly recall after pushing this wave, you are going to be back in your lane in time before Gnar can push realistically the third wave. That would cause the lane to crash into your turret again. Does that make sense, or am I going too fast?
No, that makes sense.
So the faster you slow push it to hard push here and reset walk back, you would probably come back to a scenario where you can get a freeze into the Gnar.
Yep.
Now in terms of...
You get a lot more time, yep.
Yes, and Gnar doesn't get a reset in, because you're going to be back, you're going to hold a freeze, and then maybe that leads into a kill window. In terms of gold value as well, if you want to calculate how much gold you would need for your reset, let's say you're looking for Tabis, right? Which would be 900 gold right now. Cannon waves grant you around 200 gold, and a normal wave grants you around 100 to like 110 gold. I say 200 gold because it also just takes you, generally speaking, more time to get the cannon, right? So give or take, 200 to 110 gold are pretty accurate values. So here you would get around, well, with this remaining, you get around 150, and this would give you around 100, so you're gonna be expected to have around 800 gold reset here. So it'd be like, I don't know, double double longsword probably, which is what you would get here. But because we also lose this timer again, look, this is going to be the result of us not getting a reset, and then this happens, right? This is all a result of us never getting a reset. So most crucial things here, we never got a reset in. And and because we never have that pressure point, you see, there was not a single time in this laning phase besides level 2 to 3 where this Gnar was under pressure.
Yeah.
Because he's always pushing the wave first, he's always getting his level ups faster. Because you're farming on the turret, he's by default going to have better CS numbers, and he's just gradually getting a lead over you. I think that summarizes the laning phase, right? I think after we die here for the second time, there's not really anything we can do to get back into the game unless Gnar makes mistakes.
Right, and he gets first turret.
Yeah, he's too far ahead right now. He's Jeff Bezos. Nothing we can do against this guy.
Yeah.
Did anything, like, does it make more sense now? And you feel like you've gotten the things out of it that we can start implying differently consistently?
Yeah.
Perfect.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, good. Because I just want to make sure that it feels that you get a more baseline understanding of how to circumvent the scenarios that we ran into here, right? It's not gonna go, well 100% of the time now. I just think it's important that you start noticing that, okay, I have to set up resets for myself. When should I be looking for trades? When should I be avoiding them? I think we've covered a lot of theory here. So now let's go to the next vote and just, I'm going to let you walk me more through your thoughts and let you direct it a little bit more.
The non-linearity of the laning phase. Like, it's okay if I fall temporarily behind on HP if I'm playing for a recall, right? And I think I was a little bit afraid to be like, okay, I don't want to fall behind in HP. I don't want to use my cooldowns. But it's like, no, if I do that and don't die, I'm just really trying to burn for that next reset.
Absolutely. And it's also, this is more so a tempo concept, right? Because it's like, it tells into what we said earlier, where you felt like here, like, okay, now I kind of want to stay because the wave is already here. But the thought process that we need to have is like the faster we push this in, the faster we get a reset, the faster we can, do something else. And this exact concept that I talked about here, right? Whereas like the faster we push this in, the faster we get a reset. This exact scenario is applicable here again too. If you slow push this and hard push this as fast as possible, you get it to crash without pretty much leaving any counterplay to the Gnar.
Yep, makes sense.
Okay, perfect. Mordekaiser, I believe I saw. Because I saw the Mordekaiser ult.
Yeah, I'm really bad at playing into Mordekaiser, so I really wanted to see this one.
Yeah, I think Mordekaiser is CEO of abusing newcomers to top lane. And this is because this champion is like so annoying to deal with, static heavy, just an immovable force it feels like, right? Okay, so walk me through your thoughts right now with everything we've gone through, how you want to approach this early game map state, and walk me through everything you're seeing.
Okay, so I forget where my Lee Sin started pathing this game, but really be conscious of where the junglers are pathing, try to get as much information as I can, focus on the first 4 waves. Mordekaiser into Sett, I believe at level 1, I think I can get prio, but once it hits level 2 or 3, if he gets, a long extended trade, if my W is down, is really bad for me. So I don't want to operate too much on his side of the map.
I agree partially. So I think first things first, level 1 priority. Mordekaiser is a relatively strong early game champion because he kind of has his Q and his passive, right? But so do you. You have your E and your passive. So I think in an extended fight, you still beat him simply because your passive, your auto attacks do more damage than his passive does over time. Like, let's say you both are fist fighting each other level 1, you obviously win. So I do want to try and look for opportunities with level up timers and good trades in the early game. Then for 2v2, I think both can win here, right? It's a matter of execution. And then we just need to see where the junglers are starting in the early game. So it looks like Lee Sin is pathing to top, meaning we're at least playing neutral, perhaps playing strong side. And my mentality also shifts when I'm playing strong side, because let's say right now, we haven't verified it, but let's say enemy Jax is pathing towards bot. Any equal health trade that we would do would benefit you simply because your jungler is coming top side, right?
Yeah.
So we want to look more trade oriented. We want to look for more aggressive plays. And what I sometimes also do when I'm playing into these matchups, I either do it so I can also look to just put up this wave state so that once Lee Sin is top side, the Mordekaiser is going to be in a gankable state. We'll talk about that in a bit, how we could do that. So I just want to see how you approach level 1 right now.
Well, right now I'm doing sit-ups.
Okay, so here, since we have the early game strength, I would want you to try and push the limits a little bit level 1. Test the Mordekaiser, try to see if you can find him. Bush. Yeah, find him and then auto E, auto, you're gonna win that trade. Right? By pushing this wave, put yourself in Mordekaiser's shoes. If you're losing the level 1, but the opponent is pushing it to you, it's also beneficial for him, right? He's not going to have to walk up to contest these last, they're just coming towards him.
There's a couple ways to get prio 1. One is to push the wave, which is my default. But the other one is just really focus on trying to get it uncomfortable for them to get experience.
Yes. And the thing is, right, I would kind of want to position ourselves here on this last hit, maybe. Or here. Yeah. Like an aggressive posture that, make it very uncomfortable for him to look for this early game last hits. Because if he goes for this, let's say he just Qs you, you auto, E, auto. I mean, that trade is a winning trade for you. Yeah. Right? But you just want to make, because when we're having this posture, it's like he could even auto attack it without having to Q it. But when we're standing here, right? And preferably then, especially against a champion like Mordekaiser, we make him choose to either Q us or to Q this minion. And then you see, we just make his life very uncomfortable here. Or do the same thing by standing here. But not here. This is behind. I want us to either be linear or even ahead. Because you can. You're playing Sett. If you're playing Mundo, let's stay behind. If you're playing Garen, we can argue. But with Sett and Darius, I want you to try and push that early game strength that you have. So here you see he's auto-attacking this. In my view, illegal.
Yeah, he can't get that for free. Got it.
You should be punished.
I need to bully him, yeah.
Beautiful. Extend it. There we go. It's that easy. Half his HP, gone. So now,
wait out his E.
What minion do we focus?
I think I need to focus on getting to level 2 first and utilizing that timer to get a good trade in.
So what minion do we focus?
We need to focus, let's see. I think he's standing in front of a ranged minion.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So I would need to kill that thing and kill a melee.
Yes.
So I would focus the melee right in front of me so that it can time out roughly similar to that and have 6 seconds or 7 seconds on my E to come back up.
Perfect. Now let's start hitting this melee. Beautiful. And try to kind of make your intentions unknown to him, right? But now you can start walking up. Right now,
3 seconds. Up. Yeah.
Because again, if you walk up right now and you E him and the minion
dies, yeah.
Done. His guy's dead. Beautiful. Good attempt. I like this. Okay. Did we get minion blocked? Right, so the tricky thing is here, he is also respecting your level up, so that's well played by him. I do think you can already be a little bit further up. So the thing is, see how you're lasting this minion kind of from the side? I also walked away. It's also unlucky. Mordekaiser is also respecting. It's okay. The only thing that we can kind of give here...
is on cooldown, so I couldn't flash for it.
Yeah. I think it's tricky, right? What you're trying to do it, that's good. The only thing that you can try and kind of like, how do you say this? Make this even harder for your opponents to spot out is to kind of like jiggle move around the level up, kind of faking your intentions, like sometimes walking forward, sometimes walking backwards, and kind of see if you can find a weakness in his pathing.
Yeah, gotta fuck with his mentals a little bit.
Yes, exactly. Make it hard for him. It's like, what is this guy trying to do? Okay, so now we have to decide again, do we want to do second wave crash, third wave crash, all that stuff. So I believe now your best play is to look for a third wave crash. Again, similar scenario. Oh, outrade, yes, continue. Very good. Hold up. Okay. Good flash.
So we trade flashes there, and now he's feels kind of spooky.
Yes. So I think here. So what's awkward here is that you stand still for a very long time. You can be moving already, you see? You're not locked in this animation forever. You stood still for like an extra seconds. I think this last auto is what gets you.
Oh, yeah.
If you walk away right now, perfect.
Yeah, it's because it's my Q, I think my Q2, the uppercut's going off right here, or just a second auto attack.
But now you can already
cancel out of that animation. Yeah.
Yes, but we're staying here, and you haven't
taken an extra 100 damage or something.
Yeah, because look, Mordekaiser is walking in between his autos. Look, he's auto-attacking you, walking, auto-attacking again. You just stood still the whole time. And because of that, now you can kind of passive. So you take like 1 million more damage because of that. That's the only reason why this was greedy. The intention here was good for you. The outcome was kind of poor. But what's the benefit that you have by having priority here?
Is I have Sett passive, and then I have my Lee Sin padding over.
You get level 3 fast, that's what I wanted to hear.
Oh, I see. Yep, because the wave is still on his side, and I haven't missed any XP.
So walk forward.
Level 3 here.
He's dead here 1 million times, because what is the timer for level 3?
It is 2 waves and 2 melees.
There you go. You see them right there. So imagine you were playing actively for this right now. You see how dead this fella is?
Yeah, I just go forward, I E the wave, and then he's dead. Yeah.
Yes, sir. You just E right here. You get him. You get this melee. You maybe auto-attack this. Auto-attack him. W, dead. So even though we kind of misplayed on the mechanical aspect, just by playing towards the theory of the level ups, you could have... this guy's a dead man. You walk away.
Yeah, I needed to E there. Because if I E and hit that melee at the same time, that thing dies, and there's the 3. I was too scared.
Yeah, and that's completely fine. Once you start getting confidence and seeing this pattern recognition... Ooh, okay, clean. It's a solo kill, actually. This thing is just... Okay, I got scared. So once you start getting that pattern recognition down more clearly, of knowing when you're going to get level 2 compared to level 3 compared to his level 3, because what you also have to memorize, right, is that once you have priority, your minions are always going to basically be more, you gotta have more minions than he does.
Yeah.
Okay, when we get the wave to crash, you go for, what item are we looking for? Okay, I think that's completely fine. One thing I'm gonna say, skip pink wards in the early game, absolutely refrain from them, always buy potions. Potions are beyond broken in the early game. So I didn't
refillable or health?
Here I'd go refillable. If you had 50 gold, I would go for 1 potion.
Okay.
But the refillable potion, especially in the early game, is just so ridiculously broken. 240, I believe, refillable potion is 200 HP. So, but this is still basically like a ruby crystal in a little bit, but it's like overtime healing, right? It's not permanent healing. But it's so ridiculously good. But let's say you come back to lane with the Mordekaiser here. I don't know what items he has. Also, I would teleport here. By default, the reason I would teleport is because you can contest the Mordekaiser on the bounce here, and I would to try and make his life hard again, get the level 4 to contest him. Your Lee Sin is top side. Doesn't matter the Jax is top side because you guys can contest it 2v2, especially with your item lead. And this is why I would teleport.
I was like, I have boots, and I'm gonna miss like 1 or 2 melees if I just walk, but like it's about tempo, right? Like I need to teleport for tempo.
Combination. So, walk me through what would happen if you don't teleport here.
He can get prio in the lane.
Okay, and then?
Then it's going to be on my side of the map, and I can maybe try to build up a slow push back in his direction. By the time I get there, I think my Lee Sin will have cleared the camps, roughly.
Okay.
Then I'm pretty isolated.
So, what's going to happen is, yes and no. So, the thing is, once he pushes his wave into your turret, is he still going to be forced to walk up for last hits?
No, he can probably get a recall if he wants one.
Pretty much. And what's going to happen is you're going to slow push to him. And so you don't really get an opportunity to try and progress on this Mordekaiser anymore until he's gotten the crash out, then you gotten the crash, and then on that bounce, maybe you can contest again. You see?
Yeah, I see, yeah.
So
now that I'm ahead, just play in his face.
Because your jungle is also top side. Let's say you're Lee Sin with Risa on bot side right now, then I think what you're doing is fine because you're going to be less likely to intentionally contest this bounce. But exactly, now that you are ahead, and the Mordekaiser has no flash and is forced to walk up for last hit as this wave is coming towards you, I would want you to get refillable so that you can stay healthy on this wave state regardless when you're trading, right? Because let's say Mordekaiser comes back here, you have item lead and you have sustain lead, then how does the Mordekaiser contest you? Because if you look for an equal health trade, you have more sustain through passive and potions, and he just basically left without options, right? Let's check his items, because I haven't seen them. So look, he just has boots. So if you had refillable here, and you both lose half your HP, but you can heal back 200 through potions, how does he play the game?
Yeah.
It's impossible for him. First look for the level 4 if we can.
Yeah, because he's higher level than me right now. Oh, bad W.
That's okay. Now imagine with the refillable.
Yeah. Then I'd be ahead on HP.
Absolutely. And I think here also, Mordekaiser has more minions and so has a stronger position because we haven't teleported. If you did teleport, you would also be level 4 already here.
Yeah. I lost prio by not teleporting.
Yep.
That
also,
minion has 1 HP.
Look for a DPS, right? So you auto E, good. Auto, and then you instantly Q auto. I mean, actually, it's fine. No, I think it's alright.
I think the main problem is I missed the W here.
Yeah, the only thing is, I believe your Q deals more damage based on their missing health. So, like, you want to kind of prioritize your normal autos first, get their Conqueror stacks, and then use Q. But it's kind of nitpicking as well, right? So, let's say we could do 2 autos here and then use 2 Q autos, but this is still completely fine.
Because it's not a burst fight, right? It's going to be extended anyway. I can have the time.
Exactly. That's kind of my intention too. Yes. Okay. Okay, ping word value big here. Walking forward. Beautiful. Crucial moment. Instantly
I need to shove this wave, right?
Well, we have a decision. You can decide to shove, we can decide to freeze.
Actually, I still have teleport, so I could let it shove against me and freeze it. But then I'm like, ooh, do I want to lose that cannon minion?
Well, we can also thin out. So calculating the wave state here is very simple, right? We just see a normal wave here, 6 minions, and these are 6 minions, and there is 2 extra minions. This is like pretty easy to see in like an eyesight because all you have to do is like figure out what's like different. It's these 2, right? So this is by default pushing to you right now. So this is like a more situational thing as well. If my jungler takes a kill on the gank, rarely do I ever want to share the wave with him as well. Because it's all, and this is not even an egotistical thing only, because it can actually put you behind in certain cases.
Yeah.
So there's already a nuance there. But yeah, if my jungler takes the kill, I don't want to share the wave already to begin with. That's just like, he's double dipping at that point. So, here, If we push the wave, is it going to significantly increase our reset in terms of items that we want to buy?
Yeah, it'd be another like 250 gold, 200, nearly 300 gold actually.
Yeah, but does that really change anything significant? I don't think so necessarily.
Not really, no.
Because I think we're just getting a longsword refillable and you're happy here.
Let's see.
Or a ruby refillable.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to burn TP almost certainly if he hasn't already. And
he has already burned it.
TP back. Yeah, I'm in a really good spot.
And there's another thing. The difference between freezing or pushing is very often. So there's two reasons as to why I would push over freezing. The first and foremost reason is that I can gain more by pushing than I would deny by freezing. But this is usually already later parts in the game where we could push the wave and get 1 or 2 plates, right?
Yeah.
But now we can't even hit plates, we're not even at 5 minutes in, plus you don't have enough wave clear. The second reason as to why I would sometimes prefer pushing over freezing is because it would significantly change the reset I'd be looking for. Let's say you would need to push this wave and get a pickaxe, and I think it changes your opportunities, right? Because having that pickaxe spike is ridiculous compared to having a longsword refillable. But since neither is at play here, plus you still have your teleport, and Mordekaiser is going to lose this entire wave, and the entirety of next wave, plus come back to a terrible wave set where you're going to be level 5 with item lead, I don't see how Mordekaiser can play if you freeze here.
I see, yeah.
Now, these are a lot of things to kind of just know on the spot in this scenario, right? I can recognize this window and instantly see that. But this is why it's so important to kind of just run through all the theory as to why, and then situation to situation, you can learn to start adapting. Because first thing first, 4 minutes in the game, you're not looking for plates. Then it's a matter, do we need to reset? No. Is the way push towards us? Yes. We need to freeze here. So let's see what happens. Ah, no. He even tried to take your cannon. I saw that. That guy needs to get fined. Okay, we do get the wave in. So that's good. And you get a Vamp. Okay, so we're going for the Blade of King setup. And now again, the wave is pushing back towards us. So we do get a scenario that we kind of want, where the Mordekaiser is going to be in an uncomfortable spot by being forced to walk upright. But it's not nearly as uncomfortable as it would have been by just letting it push back into you. For multiple reasons. You would have had a bigger EXP lead. He would be playing the wave here, right? Instead of playing here. And, well, I just don't see how the Mordekaiser could play. We agree?
Yep.
Perfect. Move on. Now, I want to look for equal health rates because you have the giant sustain lead. One thing to keep in mind, what's important at this timer of the laning phase?
The health thingies, the honey fruit spawns.
Absolutely. There you go. So you pick it up fast. So I'd be a little cautious here. So now you actually could like contest the priority again. Because if he gets full priority, I like that we thin it out here. So that you can kind of keep at bay and decide what you want to do, right? So I think that was your intention here. Are you familiar with Mordekaiser's Q damage, the way it works? In the sense that
isolated is
yeah, exactly, right? So because like here I would try to kind of play what you mean, but I think that one was also impossible. But man, the Mordekaiser isolated damage, that's just like it. Okay, let's take a look here. You play on your level 6. Oh, I'm seeing some real fundamentals here now. You're playing on the level 6 timer.
Yeah.
We're doing everything here.
And there I wasn't counting, I was just looking at my purple bar.
Yeah.
But then I missed my W.
I'm trying to see, could we
hard to land
this?
those W's without the E, but I needed the E to engage.
Well, I also see that you're playing with kind of like a quick cast or like with the indicator.
Yes. It's because I play with too many different champions to like remember all the timings and all the sizes.
Okay, that makes sense. I turned it off very early on and just kind of brute force myself to learn to play without it. If you prefer this, it's personal preference, right? Do you have to like press W, hold it, and then on release it goes, or how does it work for you?
Yes, it's on release it casts rather than on key down.
I think, but so that's the thing, right? So I think on release, there's like in like 1.2 seconds, so many variables can change, right? That's why I would just do it on. Especially with Sett W. I think the only reason why you'd want it on release is to see the range indicated then, right?
Yeah, and where like the sweet spot is and how thick the sweet spot is.
Okay, that is fair. Yeah, okay, I can see that. No, yeah, if it works better for you, then perfect. Here, however, what do you think is most important in this trade iteration? So I really love your trade iteration.
If I can get behind him, he's so fucked.
Yes. So why are we not already stepping behind him through this auto attacks? You see earlier.
So I'm trying to, but like there's minions underneath. I think I don't know.
So you can actually during the set animation, if you Q right now, you can't argue with me that you are behind him. There's no way he can run faster. He's stunned. He's literally stunned.
I see. So don't punch him.
Well, maybe one punch here, and then Q step behind him. Because then you would be here right now, and hit this ult is guaranteed to make him fly here.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was I was optimizing for number of punches.
Yes.
And I was looking for E, Q punch and get an HP advantage, but I should have been looking for the kill with the R.
Exactly. So you're prioritizing the punches here over your ult, and that's why I said what is most important, and you instantly said getting behind him.
Yeah.
So you had mixed intentions with execution here. This was 100% a kill window. I love the way you set it up. Execution just ended up not working out. Okay. And now I would do a thing where I would force this Mordekaiser to be in an uncomfortable spot. How would we do that?
By playing on his side of the wave.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe that's a bit spooky into his E near his tower with his ult, but
yeah, and I would also argue that when you're playing on his side of the wave, he's not forced to walk up for last hits, right?
Yeah.
So how do we force him to walk up for last hits?
By getting the wave to push into me. I don't know, do I need to crash this?
Yep. So what I would do in your shoes right now is slow pushes me in a little bit to allow this next wave to walk further. Then, can you guess what I'm going to say?
Hard push the next wave and then recall?
Base TP back, because Mordekaiser is going to be forced to collect this wave and this wave under his turret, correct?
Yep.
What's going to happen after that?
Next, it's going to rebound to me, and he's not going to have an opportunity to recall, and he's going to be at like 60% HP, and I'll have another long sword. Yeah.
So we can get ahead here 100% of the time if we just look for a reset.
Yeah.
Because let's say he collects this wave and resets. Let's say he does that. What would you do?
If he collects this wave and the resets,
yes,
I would hard push again, right? If he's in the base, yeah.
Because you're gonna hard push and take 2 plates.
Yeah.
And then if he stays, you're gonna kill him on the bounce. He has no options. Now let's see how you execute it.
I think I just chill.
I think we're just chilling, bro. We're just slow pushing.
I'm like, yo, I've got a Vamp Scepter. I'm getting HP back. This is great.
You see how we could have put this guy in a position where 100% of the time, he hates his life.
Yeah.
Okay, we do end up finding an angle here, perhaps with Lee Sin. But it's very tricky into the Mordekaiser Death Chamber. Okay, so you've kind of done it, but we haven't done it with a slow push into hard push. So we're just kind of doing it on the fly.
It's a one-wave crash.
Exactly.
He gets to push back too quickly.
Yep. So what I would actually do instead of your shoes is... It's gonna be weird. Recall right now.
Interesting. Okay, so this wave is pushing a lot more significantly toward me right now.
Yes.
And I take that, okay.
So then, what does he do if you recall right now?
Wave and a half. Yeah. If I recall right now, he has to collect this next wave and a half, and it's going to be under my tower, and I can freeze it.
Yep.
Because I have teleport, and he doesn't.
And the thing is as well, right? What you have to memorize is, let's say, right now you're standing here, and you're walking into this bush randomly, and instantly press recall. Mordekaiser doesn't have that information. You know you're instantly recalling, but from Mordekaiser's perspective, it is very scary to hard push this wave and this wave without verifying you have recalled. So unless he has a ward here, then he's not going to know you have already recalled, and then he doesn't know how to even progress here. And then boom, you're randomly back with an extra pickaxe.
He dies.
Yep.
Yeah, because I have flash up in 5 seconds too.
Yep. Yeah. So, and if he tries to cancel you, exactly, he would die. But now we just crashed the wave, and yeah, we don't really get what we're looking for. And now we haven't put this guy in a position where he's forced to walk up for last hits, or we can get plates. Right? Just again, not disciplined with our reset. Nice. The longer you extend the trade here.
Yeah.
Good trade. Oh. Okay, good. I don't even think you need to get behind him here. I would even consider just ulting him for the...
His flash there blew me out.
Yeah, but this is okay. If you just play slow here, he's dead. Just walk into him and Q auto. He's no W. You can do this. Confidence. I would try to kill here.
Yeah, I'm too scared without the W. I was like...
You're too scared.
I'm too scared. I have no W.
You could still do it here. His W is on cooldown. It's not going to come back anytime soon. Auto. Like, he is just...
But then the tower kills me, for sure, right?
Well, depends here. I think here, if you're here, you do Q, Q, E, W, you might be even able to walk out like a criminal. Maybe here? Q forward with the movement speed, Jax his bot side. You have giant item lead. He can't kill you as a movement crystal.
With all my spells up, I need to just be running at him.
Yes, Q. Like, so the thing is, you're kind of giving him too much space. You're too scared.
I think I'm too scared. I'm like, hey, I'm getting more... I can get more sustain. I'm like relying on my sustain to... Should have queued first there for speed.
Yep. I think you're well aware of all the concepts. I think here, it's also going to be a matter of pushing the limits and using the lead once you've gotten it. Now he's got an item lead.
I actually die here. I think.
Yeah, now it's tricky, right? Because he's got an item lead again. And now you're sitting on 1.3k gold. He spent all his gold. So yeah, now he's stronger. Now you don't win. I think he kills you here. Oh, he didn't have ult. Okay, so else now, I would just hard push and set up our reset. We have Blade Rune King in base. You know what's funny to me? You're ultra confident here when he has spent all his items, and you are safe here, which just makes no sense. Right?
Yeah.
Here you're scared of him, and here, once he gets back, you've become a full Giga Chad. And I don't see why. Look, here he's like giant held it, and you're like, you know what? I'm trading with you. It almost ends up working too.
I think I needed to ult first to make the W easier to hit.
Yeah.
That was just a mechanical...
However...
I should have still won that fight.
However, I would argue that you should never even be here, because if you just set up your reset right here, now, this is perfect again. Reset right now, you have Blade Rune King. Once you get Blade Rune King on set, your champion becomes twice as strong. Like, he would be... Like, if you had to fight here with Blade Rune King, he would be, basically right now, if you had this fight with Blade Rune King, here he would be dead almost.
Yeah, and I'd be higher health too.
Yep. So again, I mean, I'm gonna be keeping a $150 with you. I haven't seen you recall once in a normal laning phase scenario where you're trying to get tempo over your opponent.
Yeah.
That's the main concern. Now he gets back in the game. It's still not the end of the world. You get your Blade Rune King. But we could have actively played towards an item spike and greatly look to expand our lead, right? I think this... Now you're emotional. Or what it looks like.
No, I'm just trying to not die, but I failed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a situation where he hooks me into the E. I don't think my wave's actually dead yet, so I'm not taking damage, but I can't get out. And the duration of it surprised me. Yeah, I'm in like Shadow Realm for so long.
Yeah, like once, exactly. Well, the thing is, I think this happens to you once, and you're like, okay, I can never do that again, right? Like this just happens to you once.
Plates too much.
I understand your intention. The thing is, this gameplay would be good when you're ahead in items, and when you're dead even, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're ahead here, please, by all means, do this to expand your lead. But also, where do you think you should path?
I should path to the right, where I have a lot more space to get out of tower range. Yeah.
So I think it's a combination here. I think you probably still die, and that's because his Rylai's. You just can't escape as a melee champion without dashes. So he, like, once he like kind of has his grip on you, you're just dead. You have no escape. That's the problem. I think this game
to the right. The Lee Sin was there too, so he probably gets there in time.
Yeah, I think you actually beat him here just because Blade Rune King. Just keep fighting. Oh, the Jack's timing is unlucky. Well, you still end up solo killing him. And that's after you've died twice. Now imagine we got this Blade Rune King before ever, you know, fighting in the earlier time. I think this laning phase is very simplistic. I think you did a lot of things correct, but you saw there were a lot of ways to kind of strengthen the position you had to put this guy in a chokehold.
Yeah.
Where you just can't really do anything.
I have too much handshake moments where I'm like, I'm ahead, but let's just chill.
Yes, and you're never really looking to progress your lead through tempo and resets, where you just get an item and positional advantage, and then, you know, you put your opponent in those spots where, how do they realistically play the game? Okay, yeah, I think that summarizes laning phase. Now, Darius is actually CEO of Level 1 Cheeses. So, walk me through the early game, you know, your plan, your ideas.
This one's kind of tricky because I haven't played a lot against Kench. And I thought I'm just gonna go bully this catfish, but then the catfish smacks me with his tongue a lot. Yeah, Tahm Kench is really annoying if you don't get the extended traits, because he ends up healing a lot as well through his Qs, right? Yeah. But what do you want to do in the early game? You know, the early game idea. What do you want to do level 1? Level 1, I want to get on his side if possible and just take an extended trade. Try to get my passive procced if possible. Yeah, we get vision here to try to get some jungle tracking, and then I'm gonna try to take control of his bush. Yeah. Here again, I do the same thing I did in the first game we reviewed, right? I go to the lane, be like, he's late, but here I should be trying to zone him out for the XP. Well, 2 things. I would actually stay here and be patient. Yeah.
Two things. First of all, you wait for all 6 castles of his to have joint aggro. So you don't want to show yourself before all the minions have aggro. That's the first step.
I see, yeah.
Then there's 2 things that can happen. Either Tahm Kench stays back and the minions are slowly dealing with each other. In that scenario where Tahm Kench stays back, I would also wait and then kind of make your decisions based on your preference. If you want to go for the CS instead and zone him from the last hits, that's okay. Or if you want to feel confident enough and try to zone him from EXP, that is fine too.
Yep.
Second option is if he walks to the lane here, I mean, you get behind him, you get your passive for free.
Yeah.
And he loses like half his HP. Do you
know
how much?
I'm too impatient on the wave engage.
Yeah, do you know how much AD you get from your passive at level 1?
I think it's something like 30, 35.
Yeah, it's 30.
It's ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous number, right? So this is why we want to try and get this cheese of level 1. So now...
Because I have Ghost and he probably doesn't.
Yeah. And he's SQ, right? So he also has no dashes. So now, again, we're pushing. And whilst this isn't objectively wrong, Tahm Kench is not pressured in any scenario here.
Yeah.
Okay?
And it's like Darius is all about the level 1 cheese.
Yeah. Level 1, level 2 cheeses. And also, just like as a reference point, right? You see right now when we push this hard in the early game, you see how our wave is already kind of pushing up to like this side now instead of like being neutral.
Yeah.
It's still a relatively neutral spot, but in a moment you'll see it's actually going to be way more towards his side. And this is not beneficial for you, because let's say Tahm Kench was actually hitting the wave and the wave pushes into you. It's beneficial for you in this scenario. Because imagine being in Tahm Kench's shoes, where he like hit the wave in the early game and it's pushing towards Darius. You match the level ups, but now he's going to be forced to walk up for less and you can run him down through the entire lane. Right? Let's say the wave set is here. You have so much more ground to work with to try and kill the Tahm Kench. Whereas if the wave set is here...
How do I do that?
So
how do I get it on my side but we're even level?
Let's say Tahm Kench right now was walking to the wave and he started hitting it.
I see.
So then it's by default going to push towards you, right? Unless you match the damage on the minions.
But then if that happens, he'll also level up before I do, right?
Yeah, but you can try and match it, because ultimately he can't walk up just for fun. You still hold him off when he walks up.
Control it.
Yes, you control it.
Let it get on my side first through the early push, but then catch up on the minion deaths at that point. Okay.
Exactly. But kind of just manage it so it's like in even, / maybe slightly pushing towards you, maybe slightly pushing towards him. Ultimately, we just want to try and have as much ground to work with so we can run the Tahm Kench down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
See, right now, it's already way more catered to his side, you see? And again, this isn't objectively bad, because you did a second wave crash, but again, it's kind of an awkward crash. You see, like, kind of 3 games in a row, you get the priority.
My next wave's right here. Yeah, my next wave is already at my first tower, and I should really try to have timed that together.
Yes. And now you're going to do a 3rd wave crash, which is good. One thing you can opt for here is to actually, you know, push this wave as fast as possible and proxy a wave number 4. The reason I would do wave number 4 crash, or proxy rather, is because Tahm Kench is going to be stuck just collecting these like 1.5 waves under the turret, right? Leaving him with enough time to proxy this and just increasing your gold value on your base. If you farm correctly, you can get between 600 to 650 gold, which is just a better recall than just the 300, or let's say the 400 gold you get here.
Is the proxy legal with my jungler pathing away, and I think the jungler is pathing top?
Well, the thing is, you're going to have this wave cleared before enemy jungle is even nearby. And let's picture the scenario where Tahm Kench is going to drop these minion waves and chase you farming here. He would shoot himself in the foot, and they would lose more than they would gain by killing you. Because what would happen is...
What if your jungler is on Krugs already?
So then I would just, like, what I would do is just path here. And whilst you're pathing, I mean, just put the wards right here. I don't think at 240, he's still at Krugs, possibly, though, because look at your Mumu. He's already done 3 camps, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty much impossible to be on Krugs right now. He's either pathing towards it, so he's going to be on Raptors, or he's, like, done Krugs right now. But you see here, if you path, you're just in time to proxy wave 4.
Yeah.
So we make it bounce. You get testing heavily.
Instead, I don't even get a recall because it took too long to crash 3.
Well, it's not... I wouldn't necessarily instantly look for a recall here. I think you're completely fine and, like, you're not really under any sort of pressure here. So we're also just chilling. Okay. And now you're contesting wave 4, so pushing it back into him.
And so, yeah, I'm stuck in this, like, what do I do? Do I shove this? Do I try to crash this?
Well, you
I see the Volibear.
Yeah, you could have argued that you can make... So, I think the objectively best play would have been to proxy wave 4. You see that would just give you massive tempo, you lose nothing, and you come back without losing a single hint of EXP or anything, because when you proxy a wave here, you get massive tempo advantage. Because you've pushed the wave before it has even gotten into the lane, right? So you're just way faster with pushing it.
And a lot of this is because I pushed it so late, I don't get a recall anyway, because the wave's ready there for me to be proxy. I'm not even waiting for the wave to arrive for the proxy, it's already there.
Well, you could realistically recall here, it would just neutralize the lane.
Yeah.
Because Tahm Kench is going to be level 4 when you're back. Yeah, exactly. So, then we have multiple options here. You could make this wave push back towards you as well. And you just thin out accordingly. You're deciding to push it back here.
Yeah.
You could also make this push towards you, which would do two things. You're never gankable. And, I mean, Tahm Kench isn't gankable, but your jungler's bot set anyways. But the benefit as well is that, you know, you're never going to be forced to walk up for last if you make it push back towards you. But you decide to push it here again, which is, again, fine. You get it to crash kind of under the turret here. And now, I mean, you're weak-sided, so we want to try and make this wave push back towards us by just stopping to farm, right? So we just, you know, yeah, I mean, it is definitely an awkward spot now, because I believe the biggest mistake is trying to contest this wave aggressively. I think you should just let this push back towards you, thin out evenly, and then you are completely fine.
Yep.
Okay, Darius or Volibear ends up going to mid, so you find the window here. Just keep up your E. Okay, now you can W out if he wants to. Oh, that's an annoying minion block.
The minion, yeah.
Okay, all good. You have priority. That means you're getting your level 5 faster. And now I would slow push this wave, hard push next wave. Ooh, this is not gonna work.
Yeah, I missed the sweet spot.
Yeah, you missed the sweet spot, and you don't have E. So even, like, he can just react with flash. You're too kill-oriented here. How can you get in a consistent position 100% of the time?
Yeah, I need to play the wave.
Slow push this.
I need to get this.
Hard push this.
Wait for the next wave to crash. Yeah.
And then you're golden.
Then I get a free recall even without teleport and come back with a bunch of gold.
There you go. But you see, you're never playing to resets, and that's what's hindering you right now in terms of consistency. So we get this all-in timer. You're actually utilizing level up timers here. And we're just gonna say consciously. That was a conscious level up timer right there.
For sure, for sure.
100%. So boom, we actually have 100% or 100 more HP. Tahm Kench never saw it coming. Boom. Solo bolo. Now hard push this wave as fast as we can. I mean, I'm seeing a pattern with Riot Hubris, man. This guy is taking your wave every time. Like, I would call him out on that. This guy is just always there. Okay, you get the reset in. I think into enemy team comp, it was, what was that jungler? Volibear, Rumble, Tahm Kench, Rel, Misfortune. Tier 2 boots are so broken on Darius, right? I think here, the boots that I would probably want are Boots of Swiftness.
Interesting, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, just to slow denial. Misfortune has a lot of slows, Volibear has a lot of slows, Rumble has slows, Tahm Kench has slows. It's perfect. Sheen I dislike. The reason I dislike Sheen, I would much rather have double longsword then, if you're going this route. I think Strikebreaker is objectively a better item on Darius, because...
Then Triforce?
Yes. Okay. And that is because you are able to slow down, thus making your combos easier to land, plus it gets you the movement speed passive as well, right? Like, you get movement speed in the item. I know Trinity Force does it as well, but I believe it's more conditional, as you need to hit things to get the movement speed, whereas with Strikebreaker, you have it passive as well. And then when you proc it, you also get movement speed, which is just very important. Like, the only mobility Darius has is movement speed. You have no dashes. So movement speed is just a broken stat. That's why I believe this item is objectively better. However, since it's a melee-oriented comp, right? Tahm Kench is melee, Volibear is melee, Rumble is melee. You can get value off of this. But if we go for the Trinity Force route, I much prefer double longsword over a Sheen rush, especially when you're playing a champion like Darius, because Sheen is just good in one short trait. But having double longsword would increase the damage of your Qs, right? Would increase the damage of your auto attacks, allowing you to basically control wave states much easier and have a better all-in timer to begin with. If you're like, I don't know, Grass Fiora, you are Gangplank, then you play Sheen.
Camille,
Yeah, Camille. Yeah. But else, you go longsword, refillable 100% of the time. Sheen is a very inefficient item. And again, here, on this scenario, I can't. But I think double longsword, refillable, infinitely better purchase. Take a look at Tahm Kench items, he has a refillable as well. So now when coming back to lane here, I don't really like looking for equal health traits because, I mean, you don't really have that sustain option, right?
Right, and he's a big fat catfish, and I have no refillable, and I don't have as much sustained damage because I went Sheen.
Yeah.
Sheen value though, easy.
Yeah, I saw it too. Like, that was crazy.
But then
Don't watch them too fast. Okay, yeah, now he's priority. We gotta be careful, right? He's level 6.
Yeah, now he just out sustains me, and I think I just die here.
Oh yeah, because the Q misses. I think here, if we're
he actually spaces really well.
Yeah, he does space it really well. He does. He made it very hard for you. Oh, so this is like the thing is contesting this. You have to be very cautious, right? So multiple things going at play here. First of all, your jungler is seeking attention to your bot side. So by default, at worst, we're even here. But what's happening with the wave suit right now?
It's pushing to me. I should just let it push to me.
Yes,
and he's gonna hit
6
first.
Yes, unless you can kill him on the bounce. But I think the variables that you have here are not consistent. And the thing is, if we both lose half our HP here, who benefits?
Him, because he's got refillables and he's a fat catfish.
And Plantain River.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
And what happens after the wave crash into your turret? You have to play the bounce, right?
Yeah.
So the more HP you lose now, the harder you're going to make the bounce in like a minute from now. Multiple reasons as to why you shouldn't be trading to begin with. Now, when you die here, you die on the worst timer possible, and I refer to this as dying on your opponent's turn. You're gonna lose all the CS and plates, and the wave is gonna bounce away from you again. It's like horror scenario. So now what do you reckon you should do on this next wave state?
Slow push.
Why?
Because it feels like I need the wave to protect me. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong.
Well, Kench is recalling now, right? Like, he's starting recall right now.
Yeah.
So what I would do in your spot, actually, is hard push this cannon wave to just get it to crash into his turret and make it bounce back towards me again so that you are just safe.
I see. So it's not about, like, a recall at this point. Just, like, get the wave moving back to me so I'm safe. I see.
Yes, exactly. Because now, you are forced to fight here to get it in.
Yeah, I have to step up.
Maybe in this scenario you don't get ganked, but if Volibear has a general disliking for you, you're dead here.
Yeah.
Okay, you get it to crash, and you get it to bounce. He does have a giant item lead, though. Again, you end up looking for your reset here, which is correct. If you want to get your reset. If you don't, that is okay. 600 gold isn't the biggest reset, but then we have to be wary again that if, we don't get it then, when are we going to get it? Okay, let's take a look at this trade here. You're level 7 to level 8, so by default, our trades are just simply not going to be that good. So looking for a, smaller oriented trade is just generally speaking better as well. Because in the extended fights, he still just beats you.
Yeah, and I don't know if I should have shoved the lane there.
I think it's fine,
keep coming
because what I would do in your streams right now is recall.
Interesting, yeah.
If he's going to freeze with those two casters, right? Yes, if he's going to freeze with those casters, they're kind of forced to stay. However, right now, the wave is already pretty much bouncing towards you. You see? And Alois right now, you just okay, no. Yeah, you gotta try and hard push this wave and then set up your base. What you could do as well, is just right now he's hitting the wave, right? Get 1 or 2 melees, and then just set up your... Like, right now, if you recall, you're gonna lose bare minimum.
I see, yeah.
Because you're losing these two.
I'll basically lose those.
But it's gonna bounce to you. Like, maybe you'll lose all of this, right? But at least you get to spend the gold, and then you can play the bounce again. However, what's gonna happen now is the wave's pushing towards you, right? Again, if you don't reset now, we're never gonna get it.
Yeah, and I have a lot of gold.
Yes.
And he's got a lot of gold in inventory, including chainmail or chain vests.
Oh, but we do have the squat. Waiting with your E force W. Oh, you start to approach it differently. Big. Okay. Get this waves to crash. Beautiful. Okay, nice. He doesn't know how to spike because there's a full Sunfire here. Alright, this skirmish is going to be pretty much game deciding for us. We want to try and get a target where we can get 5 stacks. You're looking for Rumble. Yeah, we get to see too much. Okay, I think here your laning phase is pretty much over. So, how do you feel about this game then?
It feels like I once again had an early advantage, but I overshoved the lane and I didn't hit that proxy to be able to put my foot on his throat. And then I missed my recall timing or fucked up my first buy on my recall timing. Yeah,
and then we can test the greedy bounce, right? That just kind of just doomed your laning phase from there.
I think I'm not doing a good job of when it's my turn, asserting my dominance, and when it's not my turn, accepting that it's not my turn.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. Now, what I did like, I don't think this is the first time you've gotten a recall for tempo with an item. Actually.
Yeah.
So this is good. We want to see this more consistently. You're doing it on the back foot now. Now, if you start doing this when you're ahead, that is really when you can start like putting pressure on your opponents.
Yeah, because now I just can't trade with him very effectively.
He's too strong, right? He's level 11. So
he's got some fire.
Yeah, and he's like 2 points. Like he's item at lead here, because I mean he's CS lead and kill lead, and then he also has a level lead and 2 points in ult, right? So even if you land everything like you're doing right now, it's just too hard for you to kill him.
He doesn't care. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just too rough. Yeah, we just can't win him anymore against him anymore. It's snowballed out of control. Walk me through your thoughts on this matchup in the early game.
So I forget who I was laning against here. Let's see, a Nasus. Okay, so this is Nasus. I feel like I want to bully the Nasus. So I think we win that 2v2 in the early game.
Very hard, extremely hard. Like Nasus cannot contest you, and Poppy is really good into Grace because he basically can't dash, right? So I want to see how we can look to play aggressive here. What I would even argue here is I want to see either a Q start or E start.
Interesting. Okay.
So here, if you walk into him, so we're going W, and we have grass, which is not necessarily, you know, bad. But the thing is, if you walk into him and auto Q auto him, can he do anything?
No. Well, he can whack me back, but then the minions hit me, but I have a physical damage shield.
And if he whacks you and you whack him, who wins the whacking?
I win the whacking, yeah.
He is a D ring, you have D blade, and all that. So what you could have done here is a similar scenario we just talked about with Tahm Kench. I would walk in here, when he walks in, like you're doing, he presses E. What's that going to do to wave? Push it to you, right?
Yeah.
Now walk forward, brute force your position, and through 2 ways. Q start, or even E start on the wall, and you get insane attack speed buff, you get like 8 auto attacks in here. And all this guy can do is run, and what's happening with the wave, meanwhile, while he's running?
It's pushing to me, and so...
Late over.
Well, unless the caster minions start attacking me.
They might, but even then it's going to be even, kind of.
Yeah.
This is too safe.
Yeah.
Whack him. Good. Very good. Keep whacking. We don't want this guy to be able to farm for free. Welcome and level up. Yep. Oh! E. Right here.
Yeah, I should have eat off the top wall.
Yeah. He's below half HP from this.
Yeah, and I have Ignite. He might be killed.
He might be gone. He might be gone. He doesn't have flash.
Yeah, I just leveled up Q.
Okay, this time we can get somewhat of a clean crash. One thing I will say here though is you want to try and not ever let a Nasus or champions like these, like a Mundo, Nasus, Kale, be in this position, because this is what I refer to as like the happy spot for them, in the sense that they're never gankable, they're never forced to walk up for last hits, and they never have to play a bounce here if you keep the wave here. So how do we circumvent this? You got to get this to crash. Because else they just get the skill for free and you lose any opportunity to try and basically, you know, destroy them in the lane.
Yeah, it's I always struggle a little bit with Camille crashing because her early wave clear is kind of...
Yes, and that is also, again, because we're pushing a little too fast here.
Yeah.
So if you stop pushing here, you allow wave 3 to walk closer, you see? Yeah. So kind of the same thing we went more in depth on in the first game. Although here, yeah, it's kind of gotten too fast because that's, yeah, I mean, you could have maybe delayed it a tiny bit, but not by a lot. Okay, but yeah, you see as a result, we kind of haven't been able to get it to crash cleanly. So now what do you reckon you should do on this wave?
I should let it rebound.
Yes, 100%. No flash, look
especially
where your Poppy's at.
Yeah, especially when he's casting his bullshit.
It's terrible.
So don't do this bullshit. Yeah.
Because you're kind of putting him in a position where he's not forced to walk up for last perpetually here, right? So if I'm Nasus, I'm very happy here. Okay. I think on Sett W it's doable, but on the Camille, there's no way this is comfortable.
I was going for the grass proc. Should I not?
No. I mean the E, the way you're playing with the E, with like the smart cast. Is it on release as well?
Yeah, I mean, it tells me the ranges, right?
Yes, but I think if you go and practice to for 10 minutes, you're gonna have a very good intuitive feeling of the range.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried playing without it?
I have, yeah.
And did you feel horrible to play?
It feels snappier, but I don't know like the ranges and stuff because yeah, I'm kind of a spaz in terms of playing all kinds of different champions.
That makes sense. However, I would brute force you to learn it.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it's snappier.
Pick 3 champions, and yeah.
Yeah, and it is actually like I think I can't understate like how important it is to have that like even half a second faster combo speed. Because here I know this E is literally a miss because of like smart cast.
Yeah, I just miss it by like 0.15 seconds, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Again, Nasus has just been able to free farm with how we're managing waves here, right? And now he actually ends up getting the wave in because his E starts doing too much damage. So how do you feel about watching this laning phase back now?
Pretty bad. Like I should have. Like I haven't been able to bully the Nasus like the game plan was because I had the wave in a bad spot. And then every time the wave was going to rebound back to me, I was like, oh, I can't let the Nasus get space. And so I would W the wave, and that would keep it exactly where he wanted it until such point where he got an HP advantage from spamming his little puddle that he could actually control the wave on the bounce back.
Yes. Now, I agree that this can like feel like really, I don't know, like underwhelming and like annoying, but it's also super easy to fix. It's just a matter of being conscious of it now, and when you're doing that early game crashes, just make it bounce back towards you, so you force him in a position to walk up for last hits.
Yeah.
Right? It's very simple to fix as well, so that's a good part. But yeah, now he kind of gets... Ooh.
It's sad because I don't even get the kill.
Yeah, he's execution enjoyer.
Yeah, it's because the Graves came and interrupted my recall, and that the Airy kills me.
Yeah, that is awful. I would go Sheen here. This is a champion we were forced to go Sheen on. Like I said earlier, especially with the rest setup. But now, the Nasus has kind of already outskilled you. Because the problem is that your ult is a setup tool, and his ult is a great combat tool. So I think you're slow pushing now to try and set up a roam. Okay, Nasus ended up roaming here, and Karma TP stop. Okay.
She's real fast.
Yeah, very uncomfortable. Basically, whenever you're letting into range top lane champions as Camille, we're kind of just trying to be trade avoidant and just collect when we can. Trying to drain our mana pool, play with W's healing. Here in these scenarios though, you could look to like do a snappy E, right? Like right here?
Yeah.
Snappy E right here, 100% lands.
Yeah.
So those are kind of your windows.
I'll try turning off the indicators. We'll see how bad I fail.
Yeah, and you might have to force yourself through it for 10 games, but like the investment is going to absolutely be worth it.
Yeah.
I just think it's very hard to play from where we're at right now. Also right here, if you're confident, you E into her. Why do we do that?
Because then I can R dodge her stuff and she's taking tower damage and I probably actually get the kill with Ignite.
And Magic Shield. You have passive up. That is why.
Yeah. And she probably dies actually.
This was a kill, 100%. So yeah, it just kind of looks like a slow loss. I don't think we're doing anything like, you know, where it's like game breaking. Okay, this is good. But it's just that, you know, with the way we've positioned our waves, we haven't really been able to progress. That's just mainly it. This is good, though.
Yeah.
Get Mr. Poppy to help us out. Get the cannon real fast. Oh. What a piggy.
The Carthage, yeah.
And now our goal would be to try and get to our Trinity Force ASAP. So when coming back to lane here, my only thought process is, you know, when you're playing on these components, you're like half as strong as you would be. When you finish all these components, you have your teleport in 17, so just get Trinity Force and base TP back.
Yeah.
So right now, I believe you have it here, base TP. Right now. See, there's no point in staying. Absolutely nothing.
There's no point. Especially at 1/3 HP, it's just trolling.
And if you base TP back here, you can kill him.
I think some of it was my whole team was here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that now too. I think an aggressive E is the way. But you might still be good. You're kiting well. Good assessment of the damage.
I think I should have gone for Nasus, maybe?
Yeah, it's okay. I think so too, but I mean, that's like hindsight analysis that I don't think you can learn anything from. Okay, this is good. I just feel like laning phase is kind of over now, and I don't think it's necessarily execution in terms of mechanics, besides the karma all-in. I just think it's also mainly the matter of understanding the wave state scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, now you have Trinity Force, so now we're like online, right? The worst part for Camille is basically from first recall to Trinity Force. So let's see how you play. Oh, I mean, I am eating into this
probably
karma.
could have gone. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean,
fighter. I've Triforce. Probably.
her. She's dead here. She's dead.
Yeah.
She's close to the wall. You E, auto Q, auto, ult Q2 with ignite dead. Make sure you ult before the Q2 so you have more damage and done. And Kar's ult as well, just to finish it off. This guy's dead. And I feel like we've also seen that a few times now that once you have a lead, you are not pressing your lead. And I think this can come from multiple reasons. You're not aware of how strong your champion is. But here, when you saw in replay, you're instantly saying, wait, I should have killed him. Yeah, 100%. This guy should be dead. Okay, let's see. We do it here. You had another shit. Perfect. Ignite. Could have gotten in one more auto, but perfect. There you go. 100-0. That's Camille. Beautiful. Okay. I would want to try and use the tempo that we have right now by killing all these people to try and get mid tier 1 if we can. Okay, Karma ends up coming. Then I want to try and set up a reset. Oh, okay, that's so greedy now.
Yeah, that was trolling. Trolling.
Yeah, but it's trolling on multiple fronts in the sense that right now, right? Okay, there's nothing to do for. Even if you land E here, there's no way you kill this guy.
Yeah, not with that ultimate.
Yeah. And you have
teammate can't help.
2.4k gold in base. So you're only delaying your tempo here by staying.
Yeah.
So what I would do in your shoes is I would recall. I would ping cards as a way, and I would ping cards to go mid, and you go top lane here, and you play for this with new items.
Yep.
Okay, you end up getting out, and you're gonna go for Merchants. Is that valid? It's alright.
I feel like the karma singed and swaying made me want to get some MR.
Yeah, I think it's totally valid. I just don't think this karma is a threat to you. I neither think that the Sett is a threat to you, and you're not going to find the Singe very often. You're mostly going to be cycling against a Nasus. I think the better boots for you here are either Tabis or CDR boots. In your shoes, I would probably go CDR boots.
I see, okay.
Mercs are not objectively wrong, I just think they're not optimal. Oh. That's unlucky. That's just unlucky. Yeah. I mean, from this point onwards, is there anything specific in the game where you're like, I would like to review this?
Nope.
Okay.
I think once laning phase breaks down, obviously there's tons of room for improvement. I'm generally comfortable with what I need to improve on. Yeah, the laning phase has just always been very mysterious to me, especially in top lane.
Yeah. Do you feel
very
like
different from mid lane?
You have a better view right now, general view on how to approach laning phase?
Yeah, I think I need to really... Tempo has not been something that I've really understood well enough to now.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of using my HP to trade for an outcome of the wave that I deliberately plan before I commit to that engagement, it's not something I've done proactively. And that seems really important because a lot of what you talk about is like, fucking blow your cooldowns, lose 30% of your HP is fine because you're going to recall, right?
Yeah.
And you need to do a better job doing that.
And then that slow push into hard push to set up those bounce scenarios, right? And this ties also in with playing to your resets in general in terms of gold value, where if you get those good resets that you can play them on the bounce again, especially the Sett game against Mordekaiser. I think this was the greatest example where you're ahead, but never spending your gold, so you can't really contest those bounces, right? So if you do these things in Harmony, like all the things you mentioned plus this, you're going to get, in a way, more consistent position by default, because you always get your... Like, the way a top laner is consistent is by getting his resets in consistently, right? If you get good resets, you're at least always going to go even. Then, if you get good reset opportunities and get item advantage, you can try and contest them on the bounce and then get, you know, actual advantages and start snowballing. And then that paired with utilizing those level up timers earlier, because this game on Camille, I'm very certain that we could have almost killed this Nasus level 2. Same with the Darius game into the Mordekaiser. Same with Sett into the Mordekaiser as well. Sorry, Darius into the... No, Darius from Kench was an example. Sett into the Mordekaiser was the great example with level 2 to level 3.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the not knowing my limits to be able to push them in the matchups.
Yep.
But I think that's like a secondary problem to just wave management.
Yeah, just like consciously knowing the level up timer and playing actively towards it. Okay, sir. I had a blast walking through your gameplay. How do you feel? Do you have any questions remaining, pretty much?
Tons of questions, tons of application, but I think a lot of it's going to be practice. But I really appreciate you walking me through all of this. It made a lot of sense. And I think the most valuable aspects were the parts where like, I don't know what I should have done, right? And when you called things like, you should proxy here, play for the rebound. I definitely look forward to rewatching this video to really quiz myself almost, like what I should have done in this situation and make sure that I have the correct takeaways, but I think I've learned a lot here, and I really thank you for your time.
Likewise, thank you so much for your time as well and the opportunity. So, perfect.